HBCU Night Week. We have a couple of very, very distinguished guests. We have Dr. Jerryl Briggs, who is the 8th president of Mississippi Valley State. He became president in 2017. He's joining us today, right off the top in this segment. We also have Dr. Christopher Davis, the 14th president of Lemoyne-Owen. He became president this summer. Aaron Pittman, Grizzlies community and engagement team members, also joining us right now. So we're going to talk some about the HBCU night coming up on Sunday right here in Memphis in FedEx Forum. Thank you, gentlemen, all of you, for joining today. Let's get things started. We'll start with you, Dr. Davis. As president, You came in jovial, joking. It was great to see. And I mentioned having Dr. Briggs on also. You're like, oh, I know Dr. Briggs from Valley. How often do you get to interact with your contemporaries and other HBCUs around the nation?
I try to be intentional about talking to at least one of my fellow presidents every single week. Because when you operate in this HBCU space, whether you're talking about large public or small private, the reality is we are a close-knit group so that when one institution is doing well, we all celebrate it. When an institution is in trouble, matter of fact, we all become concerned because there are only 101 of us that are left. So if we don't root and cheer for one another, share information, share resources, then the likelihood of all of us surviving is slim to none.
Dr. Briggs, what about you, sir?
Exactly the same thing. I try to be in continuing communication with my fellow presidents around the nation. It is a small world and a small opportunity for us to share. I think we all have unique experiences that we can relate to and share those experiences and really grow from that. So I'm always encouraged to have conversations with my fellow presidents around the nation, and I speak to several on a continual basis.
Do you see any similarities between your institution at Mississippi Valley State and other HBCUs? Because I know, I don't want to speak for Aaron, but I know when I interact with alums, it is like, oh, there's something familiar about you. There's a shared experience. Even though I graduated from Tuskegee, Aaron graduated from North Carolina A&T, North Carolina, Alabama. There's a lot of states in between there. But it's like, oh, we have some sort of commonality. Dr. Briggs, do you see, what commonalities do you see between Mississippi Valley and other HBCUs?
I think we have a shared experience as HBCUs and understanding the importance of why our university was founded several decades ago, centuries ago, but also the relevance that we hold today and understand that HBCUs are still just so important in this higher education landscape. So those familiarities and those understandings are, I think, universal for HBCUs. And that really helps to solidify the importance of, again, why we're so important still today. And I think that that's something that we all reflect on, understanding our history, but also understanding how that history has modeled and really helped us going forward. So that commonality speaks about all of our institutions, and that's something, again, that I think we all share and really, really appreciate.
Dr. Davis, what similarities do you see? And I'll add one more onto the question, if you don't mind, good sir. What makes Lemoyne-Owen different?
Fair enough. I think Dr. Briggs is absolutely right. Whether you're talking about an institution the size of North Carolina A&T,
which is huge,
or you're talking about a small HBCU like Arkansas Baptist College in Little Rock with a couple of hundred students, regardless of the size of the campus, every HBCU campus I've been on, when you ask students to describe the culture, the first word that comes out is family.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I think the other thing that we're always mindful of is whether you're talking about Lemoyne-Owen or Mississippi Valley, you're talking about not only a close-knit community, but you're talking about a shared commitment, and here's where it gets interesting, not just the academic excellence, but also the empowerment of black students. We're intentional about that. We're unapologetic about that. That's a part of what makes HBCU special. And you talk about 6 degrees of separation, you'll get a kick out of this. Last year, of course, not only do I serve Lemoyne-Owen, but I pastor a local church.
Right.
I took 70 folks to Mississippi Valley for a football game.
Wow.
Because the head coach of Mississippi Valley is a kid who grew up in my church. So when you start talking about HBCUs, there are always points of connection. There's always some alum, some faculty member, some student that sort of connects all of us together. Now, what makes Lemoyne special? Several things that we like to boast about. Number one, we're the 5th oldest HBCU in the nation. So I tell people, now what that means is, when Howard was still a hope in somebody's heart and Morehouse was still less house, we were already open. We were already open. So, of course, that excites us. So now one of the things that we own, when you talk about being the 5th oldest HBCU in the nation, what that really means is that you're the source. So we try to live into, what does it mean to be the source of black culture, black excellence, black success? And so for 162 years, we have been unapologetic about that. And we don't anticipate apologizing for that anytime soon.
All right. Dr. Briggs, what about for you, sir? What makes Mississippi Valley different from other HBCUs? What makes it a special place to be?
Sure. Well, I definitely appreciate the question, but really it speaks to our beginnings because we are one of the youngest HBCUs, if not the youngest, founded in 1950. So now we're about to celebrate our 75th anniversary next year. But I think what really makes Valley special is our motto, and that motto is live for service. And what does that mean? That means we understand the importance of what? Giving back. When I speak to students in our community, I always say we owe somebody or somebody's something. We all do. And we know that we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the toils of our history and those who came before us. So by living for service, again, that's a motto, but it's also something that we embody here at the university, because we are still one of the only universities that actually require a community service component for all students. You have to complete this community service in order to graduate from Mississippi Valley State University. So that live for service really speaks about who we are, the importance of community development, community involvement, and I think that that's one thing that really speaks about the importance of Mississippi Valley State University.
That's powerful. That really is the community service component of the application process was something I remember going through when I was applying way back in 2004. I was applying. I don't know if you were born yet, Aaron.
I'm on one. I was around.
We got two great presidents in here, two great presidents who are going to be taking part, have their universities in some capacity taking part in the HBCU night festivities going on Sunday. How did you guys set this up? What went into making it this? Because it's usually in February. It's usually a part of Black History Month. Now it's in November. It's got all of the spotlight, all the shine, all of the attention. Walk me through how all of these moving parts sort of came together.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, HBCU Night is an annual celebration here with the Memphis Grizzlies to celebrate historically black colleges and universities. And so this year, and went into this thought process, we wanted to recognize HBCU in a different time. During the month of November, which is HBCU Day in Tennessee, we wanted to highlight historically black colleges and universities. I know around this time is homecoming season for all schools, but we wanted to take the time out to give HBCUs their love. With the organization first, it starts with a full organization effort from different departments, from down up to marketing, entertainment teams, PR. They all do a great job to help put this together. And then we go out and push it out, get these people to come out to the games, invite presidents to come on and talk to panels, and just invite different people who are HBCUs, like you said, family, and who has love for HBCUs to get them here at the game.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Briggs, why was it important for you guys at Mississippi Valley State to participate in HBCU Night with the Memphis Grizzlies?
Because I first want to thank the Grizzlies organization for this opportunity again. And I wanted to make sure that we were involved here at Valley, because it is important that the broader community hear our HBCU voices and opportunities for us to share our experiences, to share our successes, things happening at our institutions, and again, understanding, as I said earlier, the importance of why it is still important for our universities to thrive. And so by participating in this, I think we have that broader audience to really speak about, again, HBCUs and the importance, again, that we continue to build and grow on our institutions. And it's going to take all of us to be a part of that.
Dr. Davis, how do you take the interest in HBCUs right now, and the interest in Lemoyne-Owen, and turn that into something tangible right now? Because it feels like there is more of an interest in HBCUs right now than there have been ever before.
Absolutely. I think the thing that I'm most excited about at this point across the landscape with HBCUs is there is this intentional effort around controlling the narrative. Right. Even though Lemoyne-Owen is 162 years old, I still meet people in the city of Memphis that know next to nothing about Lemoyne-Owen. Mm-hmm. And all they know is what they've read in the local paper. And more often than not, we get coverage when something bad happens. If something happens in the neighborhood where the school happens to be situated, or there's a change in leadership or something along those lines. So by controlling the narrative, we're able to say we're much bigger than what you see in the paper. And here's the other thing. Let me just be candid. I don't think we always get the credit for the work that we do. Mm-hmm. Let me talk specifically about Memphis. You don't get to talk about black leadership in this city and not talk about Lemoyne-Owen College, because the significance of black leadership in this city, it predates black students being admitted to the University of Memphis. Mm-hmm. So when you start talking about leaders like Marion Barry, first black mayor of Washington, D.C., Willie Harrington, first black superintendent in Memphis, first black mayor, Ben Hooks. When you start talking about Lois D. Berry, first female, first African-American speaker pro tem of the Tennessee House. If they were not admitted to the University of Memphis because of segregation, where did they learn those leadership skills from? They learned them at Lemoyne-Owen College. So, and all of them have made significant contributions to the city that we know. So the truth of the matter is, I feel like the city needs to recognize we've made invaluable contributions to the city, which means Lemoyne-Owen College does not belong to South Memphis. It does not belong to Black Memphis. It belongs to the city of Memphis because we've developed products and produced talent that has not just served the black community, but we've served the entire community. So we want the entire community to show us some love and some gratitude.
when I first moved here, I moved here in 2009. I'm a transplant.
Okay.
I got here and I started working with the Census Bureau. I moved here. Yeah, I moved here 2010 because it was the U.S. Census. So I was like, I need to make some extra money. I'll be an enumerator. And I remember talking with somebody who was in charge at the Census Bureau, and we were just, chopping up, talking. And he was like, it's a reverse brain drain. Usually the people who get college educated in Memphis leave and go back wherever they came from. And I was like, okay, and didn't think anything else of it. And then I started interacting with Memphians, and you can't interact with Memphians without coming across a couple of magicians, And so in interacting with them, I realized, a lot of Lemoyne grads stay here. And I think there was a really good article written in the Memphis Flyer last year that highlighted that fact, where all of these universities are in the city. Rhodes is here, Christian Brothers University, Memphis, Lemoyne Southwest, and Lemoyne is the one that educates the people who become leaders in this city. And I think that's something that Lemoyne-Owen is rightfully proud of and should be proud of, because it matters, it's important, and it impacts the city of Memphis throughout generations.
I tell Ted Townsend whenever he and I speak, of course we do know there's a great deal of conversation around Memphis experiencing brain drain. Our best, our brightest, going to Nashville, Atlanta, other surrounding areas. But you're absolutely right. We're the only institution in this city that can boast of the fact that over 90% of our graduates, regardless of where they come from, if they graduate from Lemoyne, they stick and stay and become not only a part of this community, but they become economic engines in this city. So you can't talk about wealth creation, growing the city, keeping our best and brightest, and all of the other taglines that they've got, and not include Lemoyne in that conversation, because we do that better than any other institution in this city.
Yes, sir. Dr. Briggs, you brought up the the community service component of the application process at Mississippi Valley State. What advice would you give to prospective students, the students right now in high school that may be starting their college application process?
Well, one thing I would always encourage them to do is really consider opportunities. And really what speaks to them personally, and really what drives them, and institutions that can support that. Institutions that can support them as a student, but also as a human understanding the learning process. It's important, we know students come to a university to do what? To get that degree. But you also have to understand the importance of getting an education and preparing yourselves for life's challenges, but also life's successes. And that's something that I really encourage our high school students to consider and take a look at when they're thinking about which institution will fit their needs and really give them that quality experience, both inside the classroom and beyond. And I think Dr. Davis is perfectly in line, because it's really talking about we have to be able to tell our story. Because guess what? If we don't tell it, we know there's others trying to tell it for us. And we know in most cases that's not accurate. So we have to be in the mindset of telling our story, really talking to our potential students about, again, the importance of the HBCU experience, those personal experiences. Because I know today I wouldn't be sitting here as the 8th president of Mississippi Valley State University if it wasn't for my experience as an undergrad at my HBCU I attended. So really, it's about really opening the mind, opening and understanding opportunity, and really making choices that's best for them and their families.
Dr. Briggs, you brought up the difference in getting the degree and getting the education. Or you just mentioned that in passing. I wanted to go back to that just for a moment. Can you tell me the difference in the two? Because I feel like so many times the focus is simply on the degree and we leave out that whole other side of it.
Well, I think that's part of what we have to understand when we talk about education, is really just attaining and understanding the importance of building knowledge, and really realizing you may take classes to get that degree. But it is also important that you take classes that goes beyond and talks about education. I know, and again, in my experience, my degree is in chemistry education.
Hey, mine's in biology.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm in kinesiology. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we go.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, good. But I realized young in my college career, I said I wanted to begin to work in higher education, and how I was going to do that with a degree in chemistry education. But I was able to make those transitions based on those other experiences, just again, attaining knowledge and understanding not just knowledge attainment, but knowledge sharing, and really committing myself to those opportunities that led to a career in higher education. So when I talk about getting that degree, again, that is just so important. And that should be primary for students when they think about selecting an institution. But also opportunities just to grow and understand societal needs, societal concerns. All those things speaks to me about the importance of education, because I think you learn something every day. And how do you process that? How do you fold that into your decision making? How do you really engage that? I think really speaks about what HBCUs do, because I know that that's what was done for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I can add on to the advice that Dr. Briggs gave about HBCU, I didn't recently graduate, but I graduated about 2 years ago. And so just the advice for high school students, HBCUs have been in the forefront of history for plenty of years. I want to shout out North Carolina A&T. I know there's a lot of HBCU love here. But I had to throw that in there. Put it in there. North Carolina A&T, for example, Greensboro 4 students that attended North Carolina A&T to start the sit-in movement in Greensboro, North Carolina. They were in the forefront of history, and historically black colleges have all historically black colleges have a lot of history, a lot of people who've done great things. As you've seen this year, Kamala Harris's years before, she vice president and then ran for president. A lot of people that went to HBCUs before didn't know that was possible. And so now having those big figures out there that are doing great things is just monumental and is inspiration that HBCU students can go out and do above and beyond.
I think at HBCUs, PWIs, whatever the case may be, none of them probably want to hear me say this. But here's the reality. I think Dr. Briggs is spot on. If you graduate and do not understand the interconnectivity of community, culture, context, and all of that good stuff, what you have in that degree is a high school diploma with a gold star. That's essentially what it has come down to. You've gotten another high school diploma with a gold star. That's why we have to talk. That's why it's so critical for us in HBCU spaces to continue to develop relationships like with the Grizzlies. We need internship opportunities for our students. We need exposure for our students. They need practical, real-world experience. That's why I get excited about these type of initiatives, you know what I'm saying, that will ultimately lead to stronger relationships that prove to be mutually beneficial, because at the end of the day, we are a source of talent, and any viable organization is going to need talent. So we provide talent. These type of industries and organizations, you provide practical experiences for our students, and it becomes a win for everybody, for the institution, for the organization, most importantly, for the student.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had a big fear coming in here to do this interview, and it was, hey, don't keep them too long. And I've already kept you guys about 7 minutes too long. But last thing, and then I want both of your thoughts, and then I'll let both of you go. Thank you so much again, Dr. Briggs and Dr. Davis. This was a great conversation. What has it been like partnering with the Grizzlies on this venture, Dr. Davis?
Well, I'm excited about it because, again, I view it as a community initiative. And of course, and I think where I may differ a bit from Dr. Briggs is because this is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lemoyne is located in Memphis. So it's just another opportunity for us to engage in the community, for us to strengthen our relationships, and for us to say, how can we work together to benefit the Grizzlies, benefit Lemoyne-Owen, and benefit those individuals who call Memphis home.
Dr. Briggs, what about for you, sir? What has it been like to partner with the Memphis Grizzlies?
Oh, again, it's just a tremendous opportunity, and really just to be a part of this opportunity. We actually have one of our recent graduates who's working with the Grizzlies, and so she's a recent grad here.
Ronnie, everybody know Ronnie. Ronnie is wonderful, man.
Valley State, yeah.
Well, if you see her, tell her I say hello, and
yes,
I'll probably see her this coming Sunday. But definitely, again, opportunities to really, for Mississippi Valley State University to be engaged and involved with the Grizzlies organization has just been tremendous. We are a supporter. We definitely are supporting the Grizzlies in the efforts and moving forward. So again, I think for us to be engaged and involved has really just been special, and we're looking to continue to build on that. And I know Ronnie is one, but we want more of Ronnies to become part of the Grizzlies organization. So again, that partnership is something that we really do appreciate.
Dr. Briggs, Dr. Davis, I can't thank you both enough. I can't thank you enough either, man. My God.
Appreciate
thank you, Aaron.
And quickly, I wanted to thank...
where can people go to get tickets, and what all do you guys got planned for HBCU Night?
Yeah, so for HBCU Night, you can go to Grizzly/HBCU to get tickets for this Sunday. For HBCU Night, we do have a lot of great things happening. Starting on the halftime, we have Roscoe Dash performing with TSU Sophisticated, as long as our Grizz Girls and Blue Bunch they're going to be performing. So come out and get some tickets. I also want to thank Pinnacle Financial Partners, who's a huge support for everything we do around HBCU. So thank you, CJ.
Wait, you said Roscoe Dash, ROSCOE, Mrs. Shawty put it on me?
Hey, that's him.
Oh my goodness!
That's
all
him.
right,
Get tickets now. Get tickets
now, man. I'll be out there. I'll have my full TU gear on. I went to homecoming, so I loaded up on a bunch of Tuskegee gear. We'll talk about my homecoming experience in the next segment.